Your customers are craving a great tasting, authentic pizza experience. That's why we offer Primo Molino Neapolitan style flour, an affordable, high performing flour that's a great alternative to imported Italian 00 flour. It's milled right here in North America, so you can always count on authentic crust texture and taste without the imported flour price. Using an imported flour today? Check out ardentmills.com to request a sample and try it for yourself.
How has your marketing plan changed during this time? Are you still aggressively marketing that you're open for business and that you're doing carry out and delivery, or did you kind of pull back on the marketing to try to slow down your opportunities right now as you figure all this out? What's been the game plan there?
Sure. I think in the beginning, there was definitely the knee-jerk reaction to say we shouldn't take advantage of this. We should, not be aggressive because we're in a pandemic. We should be mindful. Definitely all those thoughts went through my head in the beginning. But then there was the underlying thing that kept going through my head is like, hey, I'm responsible for all these people that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got to make sure the ones that are furloughed, that when they come back, they're not coming in like, boy, like we're dead. We died. Like, it's so hard to build a business that you don't want to go backwards. So I said, you know what, full steam ahead. We've got to do not just our normal marketing, but we actually doubled down. We do about $500 a week on Facebook advertising. We took it to 1,000. We threw up some extra billboards. We threw up, I had some radio advertising in the bank, and like I have some that like I just have. So I called up the radio stations, had them full steam ahead. I was working with my graphic artist nonstop the first 3 weeks of putting together some ideas and putting them out there. Then we're actually, for Mother's Day, we're going to do a heart-shaped pizza and a bouquet of flowers for $24. So we thought that was a good way to, a lot of places aren't going to be open for Mother's Day still. So
Right.
we doubled down. We said, you know what, this is the time that we just have to be out there and be heard. And we've done a ton of video. I think that's been, we always do a good bit of video, but we did a lot of video for this. And we thought that was really important. And I've been given like a weekly, almost like a public service announcement where I go on live and just say what we've done for the week and how we're doing the CDC stuff, and then what kind of specials we might be having. So I think that was kind of been a really good thing too. And yeah, we're just trying to stay ahead of it really, and not be afraid and not feel guilty about it. And I don't think we've gotten any negative pushback from the public on it. It's been back and forth. I think the employees are just, making sure that as we get busier, we have enough employees to handle everything too. That's been the key. But we've been able to, of those 75 that I said were furloughed, we probably had about 100 when March 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to bring back at least 25 by getting busier and needing people to answer phones and stuff like that. So.
That's great. Going back to your marketing campaign, that's fantastic to hear that you've doubled that. It's unexpected, and I'm actually really glad to hear that. I think it's really brilliant. Did you have to change your messaging in any way when you doubled down and put out more advertising? Did you also change your message, or did you just stick with the status quo?
Well, a little bit of both, I guess. So there's always the same message. I think sometimes, you're putting the same message out there all the time. And I think sometimes you almost hope for a new message, whether it's a new menu or some kind of event coming up, you want something new to promote. And that's where like the guilty feeling had to go away that, hey, I'm not gonna be afraid to promote that we're in the middle of a pandemic, but people need to know that they can come and get curbside pickup, and we'll bring it right out to you, and we're going to wear gloves, and we've got masks on, and like people want to know that right now. So I think if you tell them that, you're ahead of the game. And if you're doing the no contact delivery, I think you got to do it right. You got to tell your drivers like, hey, this is the way it's going to be. We have to make sure we're doing no contact delivery. You're wearing a mask to the door. You're wearing gloves. Like, when we promote all that. And I think we bought a ton of pens with our names on it, and we were handing those out and letting them keep them. I think there were things that we were just trying to definitely be ahead of it. But our message definitely got changed towards the pandemic. And then we were lucky enough, it was kind of ironic. Our new menu, we always launch either late February or early March every year. And we start working on it in December, and it was slated for March 21st. So by the time this all rolled around, we were in the middle of launching a new menu, a week after the pandemic, and we had a very quick conversation of do we delay it or do we do the new menu? And with the new menu, there's price increases every year. So it's like, we don't want to be looked at that we're gouging people, but boy, we've been planning this for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
But we really decided, we said, hey, it's almost like a freight train's moving in action already, because we had direct mail and menus that were already printed. So we just rolled with it. So on top of all the pandemic marketing that we were doing, we were able to cross promote it with the new menu and all the new menu items. And it was a perfect mix.
Have you had to change your menu any? You're very creative with your pizza lineup, and just certain items do not deliver well.
Yeah, we probably have one of the most diverse menus that you probably see.
Right.
So during this portion of it, we've downsized our menu quite a bit. But when we go to reopen, so we reopen, let's say Pizza Rock, or when for dine-in, we go to reopen Tony's. I'm actually taking off a lot of items to just streamline it a little easier. Looking at your labor now, making things more efficient. Will we be as busy as we were at some of these places where we did move through dough after dough? So yeah, pizza's like the sausage and stout, which is like a special pizza that, we do 23 a day and we pull mozzarella for. It's like, that's going to be off the menu. So there are things that as a chef and owner, you're like, oh man, I can't take this off. But I took off 21 items off of the Tony's menu. And I believe Pizza Rock's probably right there. Mm. Your lunches now, a lot of people are like, what are lunches going to be like? Are people going to be back in the office? Should I even open for lunch? Lunches could be a challenge for dine-in right now. So like, when you look at it, you're like, do we have the burgers on the menu? Are we going to make the buns fresh every day and just toss them? There's a lot of things that you have to look at, and those things that we've looked at. We already have all of our menus pretty much ready to roll out. Those menus will be, of course, disposable, but you'll be able to also have there'll be a table tent that you'll be able to like put your phone up to and just go ahead and take the barcode off of it and have the menu on your phone. So it's a touchless menu if you want, or just a disposable menu if you want. Either one, you have the option. Actually, you're going to have if you go into Pizza Rock.
What's dine-in look like? Are you able to reopen in Oklahoma yet?
We have been able to open since May 1st.
Oh wow!
Which is it's a politically charged issue, and I've always avoided politics because people are, it's way too early. Or people are like, hey, get open. This is America. We live in Tulsa, very Austin-like progressive city, but it's still Tulsa. So I deal with both sides of it, and I don't want to deal with any of that at all. But I wanted to have, what's the safest way I can open dine-in, the safest possible way, and get my staff back to work as fast as possible and not lose my ass in having a dine-in that's, if I have a 60-seat dining room, cutting it down to 20 because I don't seat the bar, it's horrible. So right here, you can see those are social barriers, physical, real, social.
What are those
barriers.
made out of?
Yeah.
Those are made out of foam core. You could do plexi. Foam core is cheaper. Got with a plastics company. No one told us to do this. We built one. We installed it ourselves. We then went to the health department and said, hey, is this okay? And they said 6 feet high, 6 feet deep, 6 feet social distance. You're good to go, man. They loved it, and we could wipe them. And then another cool thing, these ones are, I got paint pens. Mm-hmm. People, we're going to sanitize them, and then people can write, hashtag their name, we're in this together, whatever they want.
Oh, cool.
And it brings everyone together, and then we sanitize it, put it into a dirty bucket, then clean it, put it back into the clean bucket when it's ready, and put that on the table, along with the QR code of our menu on the table, so that they never have to touch a menu at any point.
Wow. So ballpark, what kind of investment was that? And obviously it must be justified because now you can have your dining room completely full if people are comfortable coming out.
Not much. Really, foam core's not expensive. The guys who did it, and I am definitely a fan of the phrase, how much is that in pizza?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a big phrase in my world. So they were, I would say a fair price would be a little under 100 each. And but also for my biggest dining room, 120 seats, I had to install 10 of them. you know, because you only need, if you have a table that's near a wall, you don't need to get 2, you now have 1. So I only had to get 10. Most of my restaurants only needed 4. So if you tomorrow could seat your whole restaurant and it was going to be a $400 investment,
Wow.
who in America would not do that?
No brainer. Yeah. That's brilliant that you thought of that. And it's good to know that it passed snuff with your health department, and hopefully people at home watching in whatever jurisdiction, whatever state and city they reside in, hopefully it'll also pass the standards of their health departments.
And if the health department says, well, hold on, we really want it to be 8, build it at 8.
Right.
Right.
These things are glued together by PVC glue, and it's like the legs are just put in at the bottom and intercut in. It's not rocket science.
One of the things I wanted to do, the Missing Brick is all about building the community back brick by brick, not competing, but more through collaborating with other local successful businesses as well, showcasing them, using their platform to build me up, me using their platform as well. What I wanted to do, I came out of a area that was a food desert growing up. The restaurants that I chose to collaborate, they have restaurants in that food desert. So it was real big for me to collaborate with them first. I'll eventually spread my wings a little more, but I really wanted to bring attention to those in the inner city. The trap butter was funny, Denise, because Oya was a client here at the salon. So her laying on the bed, we're just talking, and I threw it out there, and I was like, but we really need some garlic butter. And I was like, let's do the trap butter. And that's how we came up with the trap pizza. So then she decided to create the pizza, the trap, which is basically her seafood boya on our pizza. So I really wanted to, like I said, dig deep into the community, pull out people that people know. I know that both of them do a lot for the community as far as giving back, as far as, everything that I stand for, and for what the brick stands for. So just keeping that on the same plateau and reaching out to those likewise people who want to do the same and see the same change in our community as well, made it easy, and it made them want to be on board, because we got to shift it a little bit, in order for everybody to grow, especially a smaller, most of I think Chef Oya's 350 square feet. I'm 1,500 square feet. So these aren't big locations that we're just trying to have big dreams in small locations. So needing all that supportive help from everybody who's already in, most of these chefs. Hank's has been around 20 something years. Chef Oya has been around 5. So I kind of also needed them as well. So people kind of take me serious. Coming from the beauty world, they she do pizza. Nah, she do beauty. So I think that made them take me a little serious, knowing that other chefs were collaborating with the brand. So they took it serious.
Yeah, that's a great
And
idea.
I think I needed that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect idea. And I actually lived in Indianapolis for a little bit of time. I'm a Hoosier, born and bred. But when I lived in Indianapolis, the thing I noticed was the sense of community, and it's very pocketed into the neighborhoods. People are very neighborhood centric. If you live in the old North Side or the West End, or you live in different areas of town, you pretty much stick to those communities as far as spending your money in those communities. And how has that worked with opening the brick and in your community that surrounds you?
Same here. I chose a neighborhood. It is very, very dense. It's in a small strip mall. It has a small brunch location 2 doors down from it. We have a cleaners at the other end. And it's called the Devonshire neighborhood, and they absolutely love this place. The Missing Brick was a barbecue joint before them. It was a pizza. It was an ice cream parlor. So lucky for the ice cream parlor, that's how we got the COVID windows. So we serve out the windows now.
I noticed that window.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the neighborhood is what's going to keep you afloat. It's something that I kind of recognized as well. Just in the summertime with the patio, everybody's out having a good time. They walk their dogs up. We're dog friendly. So I think that's a big thing. Not really trying to be downtown, like where everything's real fast paced, but really be in the neighborhood, because that's where you get most of your support. Our delivery is strictly to our neighborhood. We have 10,000 residents in a 1 mile radius of our restaurant. So we really can't go outside that anyway. We wouldn't be able to sustain the delivery. It's too many residents in that small 1 mile radius. But that's exactly what I wanted to do, was be a neighborhood a love spot for a neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome. And you definitely are, from what I've seen a lot of news clips and things, and it looks like you've fit right into the Indianapolis community, and they've accepted you, and it seems like you're definitely on fire as far as expanding your brand.
You did definitely step into a male-dominated industry 10 years ago when you started doing this, and with the awards that you've won around the world, a lot of female pizza makers have looked up to you and aspired to achieve the kind of success that you've achieved. And you have certainly been an inspiration to a lot of them. Do you ever get any emails or phone calls from young female pizza makers who just want to learn from you, or who just tell you, hey, thanks for being out there and doing what you do? Because I know that a lot of times at Pizza Expo, I get comments to me about you, about what an inspiration you've been. So I'm assuming they reach out to you as well.
On occasion I do. And it's definitely humbling every time. I never thought that, especially when I first started, when I was 16, I never thought that I would be in the position that I am today. And it's great. It's humbling every time someone brings it up, just because I never view myself that way, because at the end of the day, I go in, I do my job, I get dirty every day. I'm hot, I'm sweaty. It's not glamorous by any means, but it's fun, and it's reassuring that I'm doing something right and I'm doing something good. So it's nice when people reach out, and I'm always happy to help in any way. And believe it or not, I do get a lot of response from fellow females, but I also get a lot of response from young males from my own age. And it's kind of nice, because it's a confirmation of a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. And that's always something that I've strived for, was to be respected in whatever industry I chose. Not necessarily to be the best, but to be respected, because I feel like that would take me further than being top and having an attitude.
There are certainly more women in prominent roles in the pizza industry now than there were 10 years ago. I think you would agree that you've seen a substantial change over the last decade in regards to that.
Definitely. And I think even for those women who've been doing this a long time, I think it's more about being able to be proud of what they do, and being able to be confident enough to brag a little bit and say, hey, I've been here too.
We're so bad at that, though.
But being able to say, like, because I've gotten a lot of response from women who have been in the industry for 25, 30 years, mm-hmm. almost as long as I've been alive. But no one really knows that they're there. And I think that was a big thing, was because everyone, especially when the grandma pizza started to come out, or at least increase in popularity, let's say, everyone loves to talk about the grandma, and of course the name the grandma and where that comes from, and the association with this figure. And I know everyone loves their grandma and their contribution to, let's say, their pizza identity or skill set and knowledge and memories. But women in a professional sense, let's say, have not necessarily received that as much recognition as they deserved in, the last forever until now. And so it's kind of nice in the professional sense to see women be able to be their own champions and be able to say, hey, I've been here doing this for 30 years and I have a successful business and I'm proud of it. And you should be too. And so more so and then even more so the young women coming into this, it's being able to say, hey, it's going to be hard. It's always going to be hard. It's never going to be easy, and it shouldn't be easy, but that it's worth it. And, you know, that nowadays you can be a little bit more of a braggart and it's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're being rude or anything like that. It just means that, you know, you're being your own champion when it needs to be.
Scott, what's going on with pizzerias in New York City right now? They are open for business. I believe I was mistaken. I thought they were open for dine-in, and I've since been educated to discover that's not the case. Maybe they might have some tables out on the sidewalk, but there's no sit down inside the restaurant right now. How long has that been going on, and how are they dealing with it?
This has been over a month now, and you're right, there's no dine-in at any restaurant right now. And the way that they're doing it is pretty cool. You can set up on your sidewalk right in front of your restaurant, and if there's a parking space right out front, you can use that parking space. So I took my bike out and ran around the city for a few hours yesterday, and I took pictures of some of these little setups for you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see this over the camera, but like, check this out. This is in front of a place called Nyoko on the East Village, and they've set up this whole thing in two parking spaces, and they can fit like 3 tables. So now in front of the restaurant, there's like a mini restaurant set up.
They went all out with landscaping and everything, it looks like. That's beautiful.
Here's a better angle on this.
Nice. That's very welcoming.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And some of these places have more seating now than they did before the pandemic. Seriously. So like, that's what's going on, is that they can do takeout delivery. They can do dine in at these little outside things. And if they're fortunate enough to have a little backyard, then they can use that.